Welcome again to Budget with Brian. Now you might remember that one of my Christmas gifts was this new multi-tool in Makita's 10.8 CXT range. And the reason that I'm now beginning to expand on these is you might remember that I love to death the 10.8 original Makita impact driver. Its battery style was like so, and Makita never developed that into more tools than they are now seeming to do so on the CXT range, which has got a slide. And the advantage of the slide battery is that they do now go up to 4 amp hours, which, as you'll remember, again, part of my Christmas present was to get a 4 amp hour battery. So this is the 2 amp hour battery, and it's the CXT version of this drill. We're going to be talking about the multi-purpose tool, which I've christened the Zizzer, because what it's doing is going zzz with a blade. So I call it a Zizzer. And I've experimented with various scissors, from cheap to more expensive. One of the early cheap ones was Pure, and the Pure was a 1.5 amp hour battery, 10.8. You could buy a sander, which was very good. You could buy a drill, quite good. You could buy this scissor. There it is, going away. I also saw, and never mind experimenting with other makes, because in the main what they are is a battery and a motor, and this is a Duratool own battery system. Looks very like every other battery system, but never fits anything. Again, 10.8, it's the Duratool, and this one shows its price. But the people who started this market were, of course, I've forgotten their name.
Fine.
Well, of course, Fine. But Bosch came out with the battery version, and it was a 1.5 amp hour battery, which we've got in here. But as you'll remember, my 10.8 Bosch range has been greatly enhanced now with a 4 amp hour battery, hence I've got the router and so on. This one's been fitted with a blade which is particularly good at cutting plasterboard for sockets. But here we come to the new one. There's its box, it's body only. Let's see what we get inside. So as I open him up, why do they always make these boxes not open friendly? There we go. Take out the paperwork. Here's the tool. More paperwork. And the first thing we notice is there's no blade with it. It really is bare only unit. No battery, no charger, no blade. So we can rectify that very quickly. I can take the battery from the drill and fit that to the tool. Sounds nicely new. It has no quick release like a lot of the new ones have. They have the star system for the blades, and they supply in the handle the Allen key to do it. Now the original Fines didn't have these star fittings, and the problem was, didn't matter how hard you tightened up the Allen key, the blade did eventually slip. So screw out, and here I have a new blade. And let me just talk to you about blades. There's plenty of blades about. There's some cheap blades out. Always buy the bimetal blades, and one of the things my East European colleagues taught me was you can even resharpen these with one of those very fine blades, and they get more life out of them. This is a brand new one. Let's see how it fits. It's a Saxton blade. We put it on there, and the first thing we notice is it doesn't fit. Now, how can that be? Makita, what are you doing to me? You've got a universal fitting which is square and whatever. You've got the holes and so on, and it doesn't fit. How useful is that? I'm going to pause for a moment and see if I can find one that does fit. Excuse me one moment. Right, we're back again, and my producer cameraman has described to me what he thought of my abilities to fit a blade, because he went straight to it and it fits. My apologies, Makita. It does fit. Universal blades do fit, and I've not necessarily seen one that hasn't before, and that surprised me, and I was being stupid. So let's just tighten this up. Don't have to tighten it up too high because it's got straighteners on it. Now we've got speed control here, and the other thing that this tool has got is a light, which none of the others have. First time I've seen it. Quite useful. So there we go, zizzing away. I've mounted a piece of wood here, and I'm going to see it in action like you are for the very first time. Ready? Here we go. And that's the advantage of this tool. It can cut in very awkward and confined spaces. You can get narrower, you can get wider, you can get ones that will cut nails. But as I say, get bimetallic blades and you'll get much longer life, and if you're up for it, you can sharpen them as well. Overall, nice tool. It's I'll show it going down in speed, which is very low. I don't know why you would ever use the low speed. I'm not quite sure why you would, but Makita, like most of them, have provided that capability. Okay, so here we have the blade fixing here. Here you've got the light. You've got soft rubber grips so that it's light. And the good thing about this is you can get your hand completely around the tool. The 18 volt version is quite big, bulky, and not as easy to get your hand around it. Speed control here, 1 to 5. Battery here, and your Allen key in permanent residence in its own hole. Overall, lovely little tool. Recommend it. So, there we go, the Makita scissor. Now, shortly I'm going to be showing you my other Christmas present, which is the Makita saw. So stay tuned. Don't forget, ring the bell, subscribe, comments down below, look on Twitter or Instagram. Thank you again for watching Bodge It with Brian.